They laughed at you like fools, never realizing the joke was on them. Now, their own shadows whisper the truth they tried to deny. You were never weak. They were never strong. And now, their time is up. They thought they had crushed you, thought they had silenced you. They smeared your name, threw dirt on your path, and convinced themselves you were finished. But that was their greatest mistake, believing they had any power over you. They were never fighting just you. They were fighting the force that chose you. And now, that force is turning against them. Their arrogance is eating them alive. They are choking on their own words, watching in horror as the very thing they tried to destroy rises beyond their reach. Every single victory you claim is another nail in the coffin of their delusions. Every step forward you take is a knife twisting in the gut of their pride. They swore you were nothing. Now, their entire world revolves around watching you prove them wrong. And this is only the beginning. Press that like and subscribe button because this message must spread. Every time you engage, you amplify this truth, not just to YouTube, but to the universe itself. And when enough of us wake up, their illusions won't just crack, they will shatter. Listen, chosen one, they never hated you for being weak. They hated you because, deep down, they always knew you were stronger than them. It burned them to see you endure what would have destroyed them. It tortured them to know that no matter how much they tried to break you, you still stood tall. You refused to bow, refused to beg, refused to be less than what you are. And they couldn't handle it. So they did what cowards do. They ganged up, whispered, lied, laughed, sabotaged, threw obstacles in your way, anything to make themselves feel bigger, stronger, more important. But now, look at them. Their confidence is crumbling. Their fake power is slipping through their fingers. They are haunted by the very presence they once mocked. And you are the storm they never saw coming, the force they underestimated, the reckoning they can't outrun. Yet you dare doubt yourself. You dare question your own power. You sit there wondering if you are alone. How dare you? You were never alone. The universe has been watching, waiting, moving everything into place for this moment. Every setback, every betrayal, every time they tried to bury you, it was all fuel for what's coming. And now they are the ones afraid. The ones who laughed the loudest are the ones crying in silence. The ones who mocked you are now obsessed with you. They lurk, they watch, they burn with regret, because they know. They had their chance. They could have stood beside you, could have supported you, but they chose to become enemies. They thought they were untouchable, that their games would last forever. But now their time is up, and they can't escape what's coming. And now, let's lay it all out, step by step. If you are a true chosen one, you will feel it. That pull, that fire, that undeniable force keeping you locked in till the very end. Because this isn't just a video. This is the truth they never wanted you to hear. Drop the number 77 in the comments if you feel the shift happening, if you know their regret is only beginning. Let them see how many of us are waking up. Let's begin. They played a game. They were never built to win. They thought they were outplaying you, but they were never even in the same league. Now, they stand in the ruins of their own arrogance, watching you rise while they sink under the weight of their own regret. When they dismissed you, they weren't just disrespecting you. They were mocking the forces that chose you. They thought their words, their laughter, their petty games could erase what was already written. They believed they had control. But they were playing a game they never even understood. A game where the universe keeps score. And now, their past is eating them alive. You see it, don't you? The way they shift uncomfortably when you walk in, the forced smiles, the nervous glances. They can't even meet your eyes anymore, because deep down, they know they lost something they can never get back. They underestimated something far beyond their comprehension. They mistook patience for weakness, silence for surrender. But the universe does not operate on their shallow, human timelines. It moves in ways they could never predict. And now, the same power they ignored is making sure they feel every ounce of their mistake. They thought they had you all figured out, that you were just another face in the crowd, just another name they could forget. But what happens when the one they overlooked becomes the one they can't escape? That's exactly what's happening. They see your growth, your elevation, and it burns them. Not because they hate you, but because they hate themselves for not seeing you for what you were. And now, regret is eating them from the inside out. They could have treated you with respect. They could have stood by your side. But they chose arrogance, chose cruelty, chose to believe their small world was bigger than your destiny. And now, the universe is making sure they understand just how badly they miscalculated. And listen, this is what separates you from them. The power of being chosen is a weight they will never carry. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to disrupt, to shake the very foundation of their fragile world. And that's exactly why they feared you. That's why they fought you, tried to minimize you, tried to make you doubt yourself. Because if you ever fully stepped into your power, they knew they would never stand a chance. And some of you, you let them win for a while. You let their words cloud your mind. You let their rejection make you question yourself. How dare you? How dare you doubt the fire inside you just because they were too blind to see it? How dare you sit in silence thinking you were alone when the entire universe has been aligning itself for your rise? They weren't fighting you. They were fighting the system itself. And no one fights the universe and wins. And now, look where it has brought them, trapped in the prison of their own regret, watching, obsessing, replaying the moments when they could have stood beside you, but chose to stand against you instead. And the best part? You didn't even have to do anything. You didn't have to chase revenge. You didn't have to prove them wrong. You just became more, and the universe took care of the rest. Now, every victory you claim is another crack in their delusions. Every step you take forward is a reminder that they never had power over you, and they feel it. Oh, they feel it. That weight on their chest, that restlessness at night, that silent, creeping realization that they threw away something extraordinary. Because here's the truth they can't escape. You were never beneath them. They were never above you. They only had illusions built on nothing. And now, that nothingness is swallowing them whole. Let them watch. Let them regret. Because the balance has been restored. Number 1, they thought you were nothing. Now their own arrogance is their curse. the most dangerous enemy, the one they never saw coming. And now, the weight of their own foolishness is breaking them apart. They thought they had you figured out, thought you were beneath them. They laughed, whispered, smirked, so sure of their own superiority. But their greatest mistake, underestimating the one who was silently studying their every weakness. They never saw you coming, not because you were weak, not because you were ordinary, but because you never played their pathetic little game. While they strutted around, flaunting their empty arrogance, soaking up attention like it was their lifeline, you stayed in the shadows. You watched, you listened, you learned. They mistook your silence for ignorance. They mistook your patience for powerlessness. But now, their arrogance is strangling them. They don't laugh anymore. Their words don't come as easily as they used to, because reality is sinking in. You were never the weak one. They were. The moment they dismissed you, they sealed their own fate. Because the universe has always been in your favor. It aligned every setback, every betrayal, every closed door, not to break you, but to sharpen you, to turn you into something unstoppable. And while they played their little power games, thinking they had control, what they didn't realize, the system they thought they ruled was never built for them. They schemed, they manipulated, they thought they were the ones in control. But chosen ones don't operate by their rules. We move in ways they can't predict. We think in ways they can't comprehend, and that terrifies them. They laughed at you, dismissed you, mocked you, believed they had you cornered. But now they are trapped. The same doors they used to shut you out, slamming in their own faces. The same people they once convinced to ignore you, turning their backs on them. The very system they relied on, the illusions they thought would keep them on top, crashing down, because they were never as powerful as they thought. They weren't playing against you. They were playing against the very forces that govern the universe, and no one wins that battle. They thought they were playing chess against you, thought they had the upper hand, thought they could manipulate, control, and discard you like a pawn. But what they didn't realize, you weren't even on their board. While they were busy fighting for scraps, you were building the whole damn empire. While they schemed for attention, for validation, for approval, you were mastering yourself. While they clawed at each other for worthless status, you were learning how to move without limits. And now, they are nothing but spectators to your rise. They wanted to break you. They wanted to control you. They wanted you to shrink, to doubt yourself, to beg for their approval. But chosen ones don't shrink. We don't beg. And we damn sure don't bow. They wanted you to fit into their tiny little box of expectations. But chosen ones don't fit into boxes. We shatter them. And now, they are the ones broken. Number 2, they thought ignoring you would bury you. Instead, it made you dangerous. The world fears what it cannot label, and when they couldn't figure you out, they assumed you were nothing. Now, their own blindness is their punishment. They needed to define you, needed to put you in a box. Their tiny, fragile minds couldn't handle what they couldn't categorize. And when they failed to understand you, they did what all weak people do. They dismissed you. They mistook your silence for insignificance. They mistook your patience for passivity. They thought, because you weren't shouting for attention, you were invisible. But what they never understood: silence is where storms gather. That waiting game they mocked, that's where power is built. That's where revolutions begin. The ones who are ignored become the ones who change everything. History has shown this over and over, yet fools never learn. They ridiculed Nikola Tesla until he reshaped the world. They rejected J.K. Rowling until she became a global phenomenon. They exiled Steve Jobs until he returned and redefined technology. And you are no different. They laughed at you, dismissed you, whispered behind your back, thinking they had everything figured out. They wrote you off as unimportant, unworthy, invisible. But now you are all they can think about. They feel it, the shift, that sinking weight pressing on their chest every time they see your name, hear about your success, witness your rise. They thought they were above you. They thought ignoring you meant erasing you. Instead, they just ensured that when you rose, they would have no place beside you. Now, they watch in silence, regret dripping from their fingertips like sweat. Because the same person they called insignificant is now standing at heights they could never reach. And here's the truth: you never needed their validation. You never needed their approval. But their ignorance will haunt them for a lifetime. They will remember every time they could have helped, but chose to mock instead. They will recall every time they had a chance to stand beside you, but turned their backs. And they will never escape the truth. They ignored something extraordinary. And now, number 3, they gambled with their arrogance. Now they pay the price. Nothing torments a fool more than realizing the one they mocked was always 10 steps ahead. And now, regret is the only thing they have left. They were so sure of themselves, so convinced that their petty little minds had you figured out. They thought they could measure you with their weak, shallow perception of the world. They bet everything on the idea that you were nothing. And now, they are drowning in the consequences. Because the rise of a chosen one isn't loud, it isn't desperate, it doesn't beg for attention or approval. It simply happens, unstoppable, undeniable, irreversible. And by the time they recognize what's unfolding, it's already too late. They see it now, the power they dismissed, the presence they overlooked, the force they were too blind to recognize. And now they can't look away. Their arrogance was their biggest gamble, and they lost. They thought ignoring you would erase you, thought dismissing you would shrink you, thought mocking you would make you disappear. Instead, you became everything they feared. You see it in their faces now, the discomfort, the unease, the restless glances when you walk in the room. They shift, they fidget, they avoid eye contact, because they know. They feel it, the weight of their own foolishness pressing down on their chest. They were so busy laughing at you that they didn't notice you were building something greater than they could ever comprehend. They thought they were the ones in control, thought they were winning. But chosen ones don't play their game. We don't move like them, think like them, live like them. And that's why they never saw us coming, because while they were busy competing for scraps, we were creating something far beyond their reach. And now, they are the ones stuck in the past, trapped in their own arrogance, haunted by the truth they tried to ignore. They watch from a distance, burning with regret, choking on the reality they refuse to accept. You were never beneath them. They were never above you. Their power was an illusion, and now it's gone. Number 4, they wanted you to break. Instead, you became unshakable. They did everything they could to break you. They pushed, mocked, humiliated, and whispered behind your back, waiting for the moment you would shatter. They wanted to see you fall apart. They wanted to watch you collapse under the weight of their cruelty, to see you beg for their approval, to watch you drown in doubt. But instead, you became unshakable. They thought they were tearing you down, but all they did was forge something they could never control. Every insult, every rejection, every betrayal, they weren't destroying you, they were sharpening you. They wanted you to be weak, yet every hit they threw only hardened your resolve. They wanted to see you quit, but instead, you stood back up stronger than before. You didn't just survive, you transformed. And now, they hate it. They can't stand the fact that after everything, you are still here, still rising, still proving them wrong with every step you take forward. They can't wrap their heads around it, how you took all the pain they inflicted and turned it into fuel. They wanted to see you broken, but now they are the ones breaking under the weight of their own regret. They watch in disbelief as you move forward, unaffected by the very same things they thought would destroy you. The rumors didn't stop you. The betrayals didn't break you. The isolation didn't weaken you. Instead, you adapted. You grew. You became untouchable. And now, those scars they left on you, they don't define you. They empower you. Every painful moment they caused, every time they tried to make you feel small, it all built something inside you that they will never understand. They spent so much time trying to break you, and now they are the ones who feel powerless. They don't laugh the same way anymore. Their smirks aren't as confident, because deep down, they know they lost control over you. They know you no longer seek their approval. And worst of all, they know they failed. Their biggest goal was to destroy your spirit. And yet, here you are, standing stronger than ever, proving them wrong in ways they never imagined. That realization haunts them. It eats away at them. They wanted you to be weak, but now they are the ones trapped in their own weakness. Because while they spent their time trying to tear you down, you were building something far greater. While they wasted their energy trying to break you, you were silently growing into something unshakable. And now they have no choice but to watch. They thought they were in control of your story, but they were never the authors of your fate. They were nothing more than background noise, distractions sent to test you. And now they don't even matter. They will replay every moment they doubted you, every chance they had to lift you up, but instead chose to push you down. And they will regret it, because they never realized they were standing in the presence of someone destined for more. And you owe them nothing. Not your time, not your explanation, not your forgiveness. They made their choice when they tried to destroy you. And now they live with the consequences. Number 5. They wanted control. Now they're the ones powerless. They wanted control over you, needed it. Their fragile sense of power depended on keeping you small, making you question yourself, trapping you in a world of doubt and insecurity. They tried to dictate your worth, shape your identity, and control how you saw yourself. Because as long as you doubted yourself, they could pretend they were above you. They wanted you to shrink, to second-guess every move, to seek their approval like a prisoner begging for freedom. That's how they kept their illusion of power alive, by making you believe you needed them. But now, the illusion is gone. You broke free from the invisible chains they placed on you. You stopped seeking their validation. You stopped letting their opinions shape your reality. And the moment you did, the power dynamic flipped. Now, they are the ones scrambling. Scrambling for relevance, scrambling for control, scrambling for a place in a world that no longer caters to them. They spent so much time trying to manipulate you, yet they never realized you were never truly under their control to begin with. They only had as much power as you allowed them to have. And now they have nothing. You see it, don't you? The way they act now, the way they pretend not to notice you, yet they can't stop watching. They used to talk like they were untouchable, like their opinions were law. But now their words feel empty. Their confidence has cracks, because they know you don't need them anymore. And that terrifies them. Because the moment you stopped playing by their rules, their entire game fell apart. Now, they're the ones left behind. The same people who once made you feel small are the ones struggling to keep up. The same ones who dictated who was worthy and who wasn't are now irrelevant. They desperately try to maintain their old power, but it doesn't work anymore, because the world has changed and they are no longer in control. And now they are powerless. Look at them, watching from a distance, lingering in the shadows, hoping no one notices their fall. They used to act like kings. Now they are nothing more than forgotten echoes. This is what happens when you build your power on the illusion of control. When your confidence depends on keeping others beneath you, it never lasts. Because the truth is, power doesn't belong to those who manipulate. It belongs to those who can stand alone, without fear, without needing permission. And that's you. You reclaimed your own mind. You took back your own voice. You realized they never had real power to begin with. And now they have to live with the fact that they lost something they will never get back. Control over you. That is their punishment. They spent so much time trying to shape your world, but now they have no place in it. Number 6. They never saw the storm brewing. Now they stand in its path. They thought your silence meant nothing was happening. They convinced themselves you were stuck, that their rejection had frozen you in place, that their laughter had silenced your spirit. They thought they won. But what they never realized, you weren't standing still. You were gathering, building, transforming beneath the surface, like a storm brewing on the horizon, quiet but inevitable. Every setback, every betrayal, every time they tried to shut you down, it was fuel. They thought they had stopped you, but all they did was feed the storm. And now it's too late. Now as they finally start to understand what's coming, there's nowhere left to run. The sky has darkened, the winds are howling, and that distant rumble in the air. That's you. That's the force they ignored, the power they underestimated, the rise they thought would never happen. They spent so much time mocking you, so much time convincing themselves that you were weak, invisible, irrelevant. They laughed at your silence, never realizing that it wasn't emptiness, it was momentum. And now they are standing right in the path of the storm they created. The fear is settling in. You can see it, the way their confidence wavers, the way they avoid eye contact, the way their voices don't carry the same weight anymore. They feel it. They know something is coming, something they can't stop, something they are powerless against. And for the first time, they are the ones frozen. They don't know how to react because they never thought they'd see this day. They never believed you would rise beyond their reach. They never thought they'd be forced to watch you become everything they said you wouldn't. But here you are. You were never weak. You were never behind. You were never forgotten. You were simply waiting for the right moment. And that moment, it's now. They can't stop it. They can't talk their way out of it. They can only stand there and brace for impact. Because this storm isn't just coming, it's already here. Number 7, they wanted you to doubt. Now they are the ones questioning everything. They wanted you to doubt yourself. That was their greatest weapon, making you question your own power. They planted seeds of insecurity, hoping you would never grow past them. They whispered lies, twisted reality, and did everything they could to keep you trapped in your own mind. Because as long as you doubted yourself, they could feel powerful. They wanted you to look in the mirror and see weakness. They wanted you to shrink, to hesitate, to never fully step into what you were meant to be. They fed off your moments of doubt, thrived on your confusion, and smiled when they saw you struggling. But now the tables have turned. Now they are the ones sitting in silence, haunted by their own decisions. The very same people who once made you question yourself are now questioning everything. They see the way you walk now, without hesitation. They hear the way you speak, with conviction, and it shakes them to their core. Because this was never supposed to happen. You were never supposed to wake up. But you did. And now they are the ones choking on regret. They wonder if they should have supported you instead of doubted you. They wonder if they should have stood beside you instead of trying to keep you small. They wonder what could have been different if only they had chosen to be better. But it's too late. Now they can't escape the weight of their own choices. Because while you broke free from doubt, they are the ones trapped in it. Now it's their voices filled with uncertainty, their confidence that wavers, their minds that won't let them rest. Because they know they underestimated something they should have never ignored. And now there's no going back. Number 8, they laughed at your struggles. Now their lives are a joke. They laughed at you when you were struggling. They mocked your pain, turned your hardships into entertainment, and found joy in your setbacks. Your suffering fed their egos. Every time you fell, they smirked, whispering to each other, convinced you would never rise again. They celebrated your losses, treated your failures like a joke, as if your struggles somehow made them stronger. But now, their lives are the real joke. Look at them, stagnant, stuck, watching from the sidelines as you become everything they swore you never would. They were so focused on laughing at you that they never once considered their own future. And now, they have nothing. No purpose, no progress, no direction. They wasted their energy trying to tear you down, and now they have nothing left to build themselves up. Because while they were laughing, you were learning. While they were running their mouths, you were sharpening your mind. While they wasted their time gossiping and ridiculing, you were growing, evolving, becoming unstoppable. And now they are stuck, trapped in the same empty routines, surrounded by the same meaningless conversations, chasing the same worthless validation that never filled the void inside them. Their own lives have become a punchline. And here's the irony. The same ones who laughed at your struggles now envy your success. The same people who mocked you now obsess over your every move. They lurk, they watch, they listen. Because deep down, they know. They know they wasted their time. They know they should have focused on themselves. They know they could have supported you, but instead, they chose to be enemies. And now, they can't escape their own mediocrity. They thought they were above you, thought their laughter meant something, that their mockery had power. But what they failed to realize was that the universe was always watching. And now, the joke is on them. Because while you rise, while you build, while you move forward, they are left behind, watching, wishing, regretting, and they will never escape that truth. Number 9, the more they fought you, the stronger you became. Every betrayal, every rejection, every moment they tried to break you, it all made you stronger. They thought they were tearing you down, thought they were weakening you, stripping you of your confidence, your drive, your spirit. Every attack, every lie, every obstacle they threw in your way, they believed it would be enough to keep you down for good. But all they really did was train you to be unstoppable. They didn't see it at the time. They were too blinded by their own arrogance, too convinced of their own power, too sure that you wouldn't survive everything they put you through. They saw your pain, but never understood your endurance. They saw you struggle, but never realized you were adapting. And now they are the ones drained, defeated, lost. Because while they were busy trying to destroy you, you were learning how to survive anything. Every rejection sharpened your focus. Every betrayal toughened your skin. Every underestimation fueled your fire. They thought they were setting you back. Instead, they were preparing you for something greater than they will ever know. And now, as they watch you rise, they don't know how to handle it. The same ones who laughed at you, the same ones who whispered behind your back, the same ones who threw obstacles in your path, they are exhausted, worn out from the very games they thought would destroy you. Because they spent so much time trying to bring you down, they forgot to build themselves up. And now, they have nothing left, no energy, no drive, no direction. While you became unbreakable, unshakable, untouchable. They don't laugh anymore. Their voices don't carry the same confidence because they see it now. They wasted their time, their effort, their very existence trying to fight something they were never strong enough to defeat. And now they have to live with that failure. Because the more they fought you, the stronger you became. And now they are the ones who are weak. Number 10. They thought you needed them. Now they can't function without you. They thought you needed them. They believed you depended on their approval, their validation, their acceptance. They convinced themselves that without them, you were nothing. They wanted to believe that their opinion shaped your worth, that their presence in your life defined your success. They thought they held the power. But now they're the ones struggling to find meaning. Because you moved on, you outgrew them, you stopped waiting for their approval, stopped looking for their validation, stopped trying to fit into the mold they created for you. You realized that their acceptance was never a necessity. It was just another illusion of control they used to keep you small. And now they are the ones lost. They don't know who they are without the power they thought they had over you. They don't know how to function without being the center of your attention. They thought they could cast you aside and continue on as if nothing happened. But what they never expected was that you would thrive without them. Now they are stuck in the same cycles, the same meaningless conversations, the same stagnant energy they once tried to trap you in, while you are free. You broke the chains they tried to place on you. You stepped into a world they never thought you would reach. And now they are the ones trapped. They watch from a distance, lurking, listening, regretting. They tell themselves they don't care, that you were never important, that your success doesn't bother them. But their actions say otherwise. Because if you didn't matter, why can't they stop watching? Why do they still check on you? Why do they still compare themselves to you? Why do they still carry the weight of your absence? Because they know the truth. They lost something they will never get back. And now they have to live with that. They thought they were the ones in control. But now they can't function without you. Number 11. Their fake confidence has crumbled. They were never as strong as they pretended. They carried themselves like they were untouchable, wore masks of superiority, acted like they were above everything and everyone, especially you. They spoke with confidence, moved like they owned the world, and convinced themselves that their power was real. But it was all an illusion. Because real strength doesn't need to be flaunted. Real power doesn't need an audience. And now the truth has been exposed. The cracks are showing. Their confidence is gone. The arrogance they once wore like armor, shattered. Their voices no longer carry the same weight. Their presence no longer intimidates. Because deep down, they know they were never strong to begin with. All that bravado, all that fake dominance, it was never built on real foundation. It was built on deception, on fragile egos, on making others feel small so they could feel big. And now that the illusion is gone, they have nothing left. They used to talk down to you as if they were above you. Now they struggle to even hold their own. They used to make you doubt yourself. But now they are the ones drowning in uncertainty. Because everything they pretended to be has collapsed. They see it in your eyes. You're not afraid of them anymore. You don't shrink in their presence. You don't hesitate. You don't second-guess yourself. And that terrifies them. Because the moment they lost control over you, they lost the only power they ever had. Now, they stand there, exposed, stripped of the false confidence they once carried so proudly, and there is nothing left but the truth. They were never as strong as they pretended to be. Number 12. They thought they had won, but the universe never loses. For a while, they thought they had won. They walked around with smug smiles, whispering to each other about how they had played the game perfectly. They believed their manipulations had worked, that their schemes had buried you, that their betrayal had set them on a path of victory. They thought they had broken you. They thought they had erased you. They thought they had secured their place above you, laughing in their false sense of power, convinced they had outplayed you. But what they didn't count on, the universe never loses. It watched everything, the lies they told, the traps they set, the moments they reveled in your struggles. They thought they got away with it, thought their actions had no consequence. But the universe, it keeps receipts, and now everything is aligning against them. One by one, the very things they used to rise are turning against them. The same people they manipulated are seeing through their lies. The same doors they slammed in your face, now slamming in theirs. They feel it, the weight shifting, the tables turning, the power they thought they had slipping from their hands. They are scrambling now, trying to hold on to an illusion that is crumbling faster than they can grasp it. Because you didn't fall, they expected you to disappear, to be bitter, to seek revenge. But instead, you rose, not because of them, but in spite of them. And that is what haunts them the most. Because now, as they struggle, as their world collapses, they look at you, and you are higher than they ever imagined. You were never beneath them. They were never above you. And now they know it. Because while they wasted time trying to destroy you, you were building something greater. While they celebrated their false victory, the universe was setting the stage for your rise. And now, they have nothing left but regret. Because the universe never loses, and neither do the ones it chooses. Number 13. The more they resent you, the more they obsess over you. They claim they don't care. They walk around pretending you don't exist, acting as if your name is meaningless, as if your success is invisible. They roll their eyes when your name comes up, scoff when someone mentions your progress, and pretend as if your rise means nothing to them. But if you didn't matter, why can't they stop watching? Why do they still check? Why do they still listen? Why do they still compare? Because their resentment is nothing more than proof of their obsession. They wanted to believe you were insignificant. They wanted to convince themselves that you were just another face in the crowd, just another name they could forget. But now they can't escape you. Everywhere they turn, there you are. Your name lingers in conversations they wish they weren't a part of. Your success is loud, even when you're silent. Your growth overshadows everything they thought they had achieved. And that torments them. Because no matter how much they try to erase you from their mind, you are permanently etched into it. They stalk from a distance. They check. They scroll. They listen. They watch you become everything they swore you never would. And yet, they still say they don't care. They still pretend. But the truth? They are obsessed. Obsessed with what you're doing. Obsessed with how far you've come. Obsessed with the fact that you moved on and never looked back. And that's what destroys them the most. That you don't even look their way. You don't care what they say. You don't check for their approval. You don't need their validation. And that kills them. Because deep down, they needed you to need them. They needed you to crave their acceptance, to seek their attention, to shrink yourself so they could feel big. But you never needed them. And now they have to live with that. Number 14, they can't escape their own regret. It follows them everywhere. They tell themselves they made the right choices. They try to convince themselves that walking away from you, underestimating you, dismissing you was the smart move, that their actions were justified, that they were never wrong, that you were never that important. But no matter where they go, regret follows them like a shadow. They feel it in the silence. When the world isn't distracting them, when the noise fades, when they're alone with their thoughts, that's when it creeps in. That's when it whispers the truth they don't want to hear. They made a mistake. A mistake they can't undo. A choice they can't take back. Because the reality is this: they could have stood beside greatness. They could have been part of your journey. They could have supported you, lifted you up, believed in you when it mattered. But they chose arrogance instead. They chose to laugh instead of listen. They chose to doubt instead of believe. They chose to tear you down instead of standing with you. And now they are haunted. They see reminders of you everywhere. A conversation, a name, a place, a success that could have been theirs if only they had chosen differently. They thought they were walking away from something insignificant, thought they were making a decision that wouldn't matter. But now it's all they can think about. They see your rise. They see the power you've stepped into, the growth, the transformation. And with every step you take forward, their regret tightens its grip. Because now they know they chose wrong. They chose ego over wisdom. They chose pride over alignment. They chose to stand against someone they should have stood beside. And nothing torments them more than knowing they were given a chance to be part of something greater, and they threw it away. Now, the weight of that choice follows them. It lingers in their thoughts. It burns in their chest. It plays in their mind like a movie they can't shut off. Because the reality is unavoidable. They lost you. And not just you, the version of themselves they could have been. They had a choice. A moment where they could have stepped up, supported, believed, aligned themselves with something bigger than their own fragile egos. But instead, they chose jealousy. They chose pettiness. They chose to believe that keeping you down would somehow elevate them. And now they live with the knowledge that you didn't need them. But they needed you. And they will never escape that truth. Number 15. You moved on. They are still stuck in the past. You moved on. You outgrew everything they thought would keep you trapped. You stepped beyond their reach, beyond their influence, beyond the version of yourself they were comfortable with. You became more than they ever imagined. And They are still stuck in the past, still replaying old memories, still clinging to the last moments where they felt in control, still trying to convince themselves that their choices didn't cost them everything. But deep down, they know. They know they lost something real. They tell themselves they made the right decisions. They try to rewrite history in their minds, twisting the past to make themselves feel better. But the truth follows them everywhere. It lingers in every quiet moment, creeps into their thoughts when they least expect it. Because you were never the problem. They were. And now, while you rise, while you build, while you step into your power, they are still standing in the same place. Same mindset. Same bitterness. Same cycles. They are prisoners of their own choices, trapped in a past that no longer exists. They thought moving on would be easy, thought they could cut you out and continue as if nothing happened. But what they never expected was that you would thrive without them. And now, they are the ones who can't let go. They watch from the sidelines, seeing you become everything they once doubted, seeing you succeed without their permission, seeing you live a life where they no longer matter. And that is what haunts them the most. Because in their mind, they still exist in your story. In their mind, they are still relevant, still important, still waiting for the day when you come back, seeking closure, seeking answers, seeking them. But you don't. You don't check on them. You don't ask about them. You don't wonder if they regret anything, because their regret is no longer your concern. You moved forward while they stayed behind. You evolved while they remained stagnant. You became something they could never be, free. And now they have to live with that. Live with the reality that they are nothing more than a memory to you. And that memory, it no longer holds power over you. And now the truth is clear. They lost. Not because you sought revenge, not because you tried to prove them wrong, but because you simply became more. You rose while they remained stuck. You evolved while they drowned in regret. You won by moving forward. If this message resonated with you, drop the number 77 in the comments to claim your power. Like, subscribe, and share this with other chosen ones. Because the more of us who awaken, the faster their illusions crumble. Let this message spread. Let them see. Let them feel it. The era of the chosen ones has arrived.